right, give me 1 second. Okay. Hello, folks. Thanks for joining us. Everyone who's here from Lambda School, everyone who's here from outside of the organization. Let me tell you what we just accomplished over the last 24 hours, barring my dog is actually barring his participation, his behavior. Hopefully he doesn't interrupt. So my name is Ryan Hamblin. I'm with Lambda School. And what I have for the audience who's not a part of our school is a presentation of projects that our students have been working on and building over the last 24 hours. Many of them worked through the night and have not slept, and they have pushed out some code that is pretty awesome and some projects that are pretty fun projects. And we're actually very, very impressed. As an organization, as a school, as a team, we're very impressed with what we've been able to achieve. So thank you once again for joining us. Question came up and asked if I am recording. I'm keeping a recording on my computer. Thank you for reminding me. But I'm also, we're recording live on YouTube right now. So the video will upload as, moments after all this goes on. So we actually had a group that volunteered to go first because a couple of their team members have to leave a little bit early. And so I guess we'll just kick this off without further ado. The group Trumpadoro, I'll have Samir Dabra go ahead and present for us what they were able to achieve. So you are now unmuted, Samir, and go ahead. You can share your screen and everything with us.
Okay, great. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Perfect. Okay. So we'll get right in. So our goal with our project was to create a productivity extension with the hope that it would block certain websites that would distract the user whilst they're working. And the little caveat to it was that if they wanted to still unblock certain websites, they would have to pay a donation to some sort of organization. So after sort of some discussion with the team, we decided to make a Pomodoro timer, which would, if I close this. So a Pomodoro timer, which would, obviously it would be 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes of rest. We had a discussion where we didn't want to make charities a punishment. So we thought a better deterrent would be for people to be pushed to donate to the Trump campaign. So we came up with Trumpadoro, which is essentially a Pomodoro timer influenced by Trump. So I'll give you a very quick demo of it. Let's see how it works. So here is the app that we have. We managed to complete the majority of it now. And so you have all the websites here that you'd like to block. And of course, everything is sort of Trump laser would be like, don't be a loser, don't go on these websites during focus mode, and put a URL on its own line, believe me. Everything's got some sort of twist to him. So you turn that on and you start the Pomodoro timer. And now, for example, if I was to go on to reddit.com, it would take us straight to this page. There's usually meant to be a prompt. I'm not sure what's happened there. Of course, showing something live is always a bug. But yeah, there's usually meant to be a prompt here at this point, which would let you know, of course, from the user experience point of view. And if I could just, sorry. And so let me just stop this for a second. So we mainly built this using, so it was JavaScript, HTML, some jQuery, and some CSS, and all the information on how to build out a Chrome extension was on the Chrome Dev documentation, and it was a good challenge. I think everyone sort of jumped in and just started working. I mean, we only had 24 hours to do this, so everyone just did what they could, and we managed to come up with well, it's relatively a finished product. So the pros to it was, well, we found it quite funny working through, and there's a buzz to this. it being politically charged, would probably, well, we're hoping to some extent would gain some sort of traction. And I think we'd want to actually release this, providing we just fix all the kinks and bugs. The only issue we currently have, the only drawback, is after this page of the Trump organization, there's a sort of callback function that seems to it's a little bit off. It doesn't seem to be working for us at the moment. So once we fix that, I think we're all set to go. But that's it. This is what we did in 24 hours. So thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Do you want to share any like major successes or any, I guess you shared your drawback, like, what was the funnest thing that you worked on here? Like the best success?
For me, it was the logo. It really was. But no, I think just the whole thing, it was sort of bouncing ideas together. As in the initial idea. I mean, it's taken quite a turn from the initial idea, which was to donate to charities. But I think the discussions that we had were really quite fruitful, and we came to something that together as a team, and it was really good. It was great.
That's so fun. Yep, that's a good part of a hackathon. Many of you all didn't know each other before you got together, and that's kind of how we got the groups assigned. And I'll talk more and more about how we organized everything and how we launched this hackathon for our initial launch. So thank you, Samir. Thank you, group Trumpadoro. That is Trumpadoro. Sorry. What a fun little twist on a really useful tool. So, all right, I'm going to now go ahead and generate a random number. And if your group falls on that number, you're going to go next. So let me go ahead and generate. And I got number 9, which was an app that enables public school lunch programs to collect donations via Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle. A donor can search by city, zip, or pay for a number of meals. So whoever was the group leader for that group, go ahead and DM me in Slack, and then I will make you a panelist. All right, Julian Peggy's coming right up. There we go. All right, Julian, the floor is yours.
Pretty big task, and we got like some cool Lucid charts and some. I was actually prepared for this a lot better. That's my Lucid chart. I'm sorry, guys. But like, it was a really awesome experience. I loved it. Let's go ahead and pull up Zoom so I can share my screen. All right, do I start video? Okay, nope, share screen. This is the button. All right, so our goal was lunch money. We called it lunch money. It's a neat little idea. It was very interesting. We had a whole lot to do to build it, and so we ended up like spending a lot of time like learning things and like going over things. But I do want to show like some of the stuff we came up with some mock designs, and they were drawn by the talented Treshawn. He drew some amazing mocks. They really want to show these off. So, he'd be like, hey, what are we going to do? What's it going to look like? And he just started scribbling, and wow, like boom, these pictures were amazing. And so we got this one here. This is a cool mock. And then we had this amazing one right here. It didn't really last. It kind of changed into, this over here. But, and we had, these pages. And I feel like our project was really, it was a very big scope. It was a very huge scope. And we spent a lot of time just kind of like researching and kind of getting stuff together. I feel like it's really more of a project that I think we want to tackle as a group later. But we did do some programming, coding, and I created this interesting sign up button thing that pulls out a modal and stuff. It's neat. And we also have, oh, do I not have a Zoom? Oh, okay. Sorry, I was distracted. But yeah, like we created a really cool modal. We created some really cool stuff. I'm sharing the screen. I should probably not be distracted right now. This is, just some mock-ups, just some stuff. It was like building Stripe and a lot of stuff into it. It was kind of a lot of stuff to do. But we got this, and we got this neat thing with the school where you can display school information. It was a very good learning experience because, like, as far as we went, there was like 3 of us that used React, and we chose as our stack. And so we spent some time like teaching people React and like having them learn, and they were like really quick on picking the stuff up. And like I was with some very amazing programmers. We spent a lot of time planning. We look forward to completing this another time, but so far this is what we have right here. Sorry, I don't know how to control my computer, but we wanted to, put like some, when we got to the deadline and things got pretty bad, we wanted to put some like crayon on here and really like show off the mock-up, but we didn't have time for that either. But this is it.
Cool. Tell us about what the scope of the project is, sort of what it's supposed to do, and kind of where you were able to get with it, and yeah.
Okay, so our scope was pretty big. Like the goal, as and you can see the beautiful mock-up designs. I can kind of walk you through the mock-ups because we had the scope of what we wanted to do. It was just kind of getting everyone on page with like the technologies we're using to dev. But so you have a school, and the school, you have you're a user, you log into the app, and then it shows you a list of schools which were meant to be in here. And those schools have, amount of donations needed for school lunches. And you just click on one of those and it allows you to go to their page and donate so that kids who don't have school lunch can have lunch. And we have like a cool, like we built a back end and everything. And it was nice, but like I can't really show it off as much as I like to. But there's you have the donations. It shows the donations, the dates, and everything. We have the sign in. You can log in as a donor or a school, and each one displays different information. Whereas the school kind of has like, as a donor, when you click on the school, it shows who's donated and contact info for the school. And I think you can share the information. So like on a social media, you could do that. And there's like a short little information about the school where the school could log in and write some information about it. But I would say I think that's pretty much the general gist of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Well done, guys. This is awesome. Part of working in a team with different experience levels of engineers is you get a chance to either, teach somebody or learn from somebody else. And that's one of the benefits I see of our school doing these hackathons is, in groups, you get a chance to, share, your knowledge with those who may not be that advanced in the program yet. And there are a couple of students, there's a group of students who have participated who haven't had the React curriculum presented to them yet. So if you're building something in React, it may have been your responsibility if you're a more advanced student to help get some of those students up to speed. So awesome. Well done with what you're able to accomplish, in the time given. And I think that, it's an idea that you guys as a group, you can take and you can run with in the near future. So that's really cool. Thank you so much, Julian.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to generate 2 numbers. So we get 2 groups ahead, and then we'll just have to generate, 1 group ahead. So that way this can go a little bit faster. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to generate those numbers real quick. So we got 10. So the next group up will be the group who built an app on domestic violence. So if you are that group leader, you are next, and then I'm going to generate another number. We got 16, and that is building a simple game in Unity. So you guys will be the next up as well. Both of those group team leaders can DM me right now in Slack, and then we'll let the group, the domestic violence group, go and demonstrate their app. That's right. I have actually already spoken to Jason and Josh. So Jason Noon and Joshua Hall from the Domestic Violence app will be speaking. So let me just grab them real quick. All right, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep,
All right,
loud and clear.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just gonna talk about domestic violence. There's two of us. I apologize for that because for some reason we had a snafu with the Git. So he was able to have a good copy of the code and he will get it to work for us. So I'm gonna start off with our MVP goal. Our MVP goal is to provide a resource in the fingertips of potential domestic violence victims. And I was able to get together with my group and we had come up with great ideas. And probably if we were to do all those ideas and all these features, I would probably need more than 24 hours. So we decided to stick with one feature. We wanted to provide some kind of a locator, a nearby shelter or help center for anybody that feels endangered. So we came up with this idea of like do a nearby shelter or help center or what have you. So, and Josh can scroll down a little bit. So let's do a zip code. So whoever has the app can put in a zip code and then type it in. And then once you hit to submit, it will come up with all the centers available within in order of the distance. And he is in Ohio, so the closest one to him that he can go to is 5 miles away, which is something simple. And there's a different zip code and just very different distance. So these are all the location that you can go to if you are you need some help regarding domestic violence. The name of the place, the address, and if you can click on the link, the name, it will take you to the website. And so if the person doesn't need help or wants to check out the place to get an idea of who they are, or they can also just click on the address. And then this is using the Yahoo API, which give us the address and the directions or getting an idea of where the location is or additional information. So how this app is built is basically a React front end. And it's really a basic, upfront, simple. We have all these features that we love to use, but we wanted to keep it to one. And let me talk about success, challenge, and drawback. I'm going to start off with the challenge. The challenge that we were having is that we were thinking that, YouTube has this API that we could use. We'll come to find out the place types does not have shelters or domestic violence types location. They only have like pizza, ATM, and all that. And we were banging our head trying to figure out what can we do to use Google API. Come to think, I ran across this pizza restaurant app where you can type it in, pizza, and then zip code, and it will take you to the closest pizza places. And I thought, why not if we hack that API and make it into look for certain locations for victims and by zip code. So we ended up hacking a pizza restaurant app into something that would work for us. And that was really exciting. And so what the app was using was a Yahoo API where it has specific searches for this kind of stuff. So it was really cool, and we got to learn from it. It was a really cool experience. So that was our success. And then the drawback is, we were putting our head together, trying to think of why can we not get YouTube to work or something like that. And I want to go back to the challenges. I've worked with, we have a few younger students, and we wanted to make sure that we were available to them so that if they had questions or they got lost, because we were there, we know how it is, and we want to support them as well. So that was a pretty cool experience for me. This is my 12th week, so it's pretty cool to teach what I've learned, to see if they can understand. And I also teach myself, like, yeah, maybe I do know something. So I'm gonna leave it off of that and just see if anybody has questions.
I did want to also add in that you can use your current location in your browser to automatically input your zip code. So I thought that was kind of a cool feature too.
Really cool. Not only is this an app that you were able to research and find an API, and sometimes it's just what you have to do is figure out how somebody else has done something and then implement it. But it's also a very helpful application. And yeah, once again, just reiterating the fact that some of you are further along in the program, and some of you aren't, and you guys were able to mix together and get something really cool out the door. And that's what this was all about, was working on something that you're excited about, that you're proud of, and learning as well. So really cool stuff. Is there anything else that you guys want to share with us before we move on to the next group?
Nope, I do not. It's been a cool experience though.
Okay. I'd like to just add in for all you guys in CS6 and lower, the guys that come in after, don't be afraid to speak up and ask questions, guys, because we're not going to know if you don't understand. For all we know, you guys already are 10 steps ahead of us. So you really got to reach out and say, hey, what is this? What's going on? So that we can reaffirm your strengths and weaknesses and help you build up with us.
Cool. That's great advice. All right. I love it. Okay. Generating our next group. That is going to be those who worked on the Lambda School CLI. They will be up after the simple game built in Unity group. So John Correa, you are up, and if you are part of that Lambda School CLI group, go ahead and DM me if you are the speaker for that group.
This is YouTube Live.
Yeah, I'll be the speaker for the group.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, I think I'm sharing my screen now.
Yep, looks good.
So the goal was to make just a minimal viable product in Unity for a first-person shooter. And so we decided to make an endless zombie shooter. So we needed to make a player, some zombies, the environment, and a couple of weapons. So if you don't know what Unity is, it's basically a game engine where you can build a game. The basic version is free. So we built it in this editor here. And then on our GitHub, we have the version 4, I think, was the one that was working the best. And then I'm going to go ahead and play that here. All right, it should be up here. So we have a player that can walk around and look around with the mouse. You should be able to jump, but something was glitching out with that. So whenever you walk over to any of these floating items, you can pick it up. If you don't have it yet, it won't let you switch to it. But then once you pick everything up, you can switch to it. The zombies will chase after you. We only had 2 weapons working right now. There's the flamethrower and the rifle here. If you use the flamethrower on the environment, some of it will catch on fire. And then if the zombies hit you, of course, you take damage until you lose all your health. But yeah, we stayed up all night kind of putting all of this together. Alex did a lot of the work here. He put together all of the environment, basically. And a couple of us worked on some of the code to help out with that. I worked on the inventory system so you can change weapons. But he put together a lot of the code here and the environment here.
I am pretty speechless. That's pretty awesome that you guys were able to hack this together in just 24 hours. So that's amazing. Tell us about like your biggest victory and your biggest demise. Like what was a big stumper for you guys?
For me at least, I hadn't used Unity in such a long time. In the beginning, we had to update everyone and get on the same version. Some of us couldn't even get it running the first couple of hours, and 2 of the people in our group were pretty much brand new, so they weren't able to contribute much, but I think they learned a lot, like kind of watching us build this together.
Super cool. Yeah, it goes back to that thing where, sometimes it's, you get a clash of experience levels, and that happens on the job force as well. And so it's amazing to see those of you who've been in the program a little bit longer than others, sort of stepping up as leaders in these projects. And seriously, wow, like this is so cool. This is something that, I've personally never done, build a game in Unity or, anything like it. So I'm sure you guys could, as a group, take this and, run it even further and play around with it and, get into some game development along the way. So definitely amazed once again by all the projects so far. And this is definitely super fun. So cool. All right. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with us, John?
No, I don't think so. It was really fun. It wasn't so fun staying up all night, but it was great working on this project.
Yeah, that's the glory of the hackathon is you really just burn that midnight oil and then see what comes of it. So awesome. It's almost all the way over, and you guys can go rest your sweet little heads and dream about all the cool stuff that you've built and will build in the future. Okay, cool. All right, Jason Campbell is up, but before we get started with Jason, I'm gonna roll the dice one more time and see who's gonna be our next group. Group number 13 was the recipe suggestion based on a few ingredients. So if you are the group leader from that group, go ahead and DM me in Slack, and I'll get you set up to go as soon as Jason's done presenting. So thank you again, John and Jason. The floor is now yours. You are unmuted.
Awesome. All right, let me get screen share going. Everyone good can see, I assume. So our project was a command line interface that will ideally avoid what kind of has been a time-consuming part of getting up and running for lessons at Lambda School. Sometimes dependencies, doing things on different machines, operating systems. Someone has a different version of Node. That goes in a lot of different directions, sometimes takes some really time-consuming, trial and error type debugging. So what we wanted to do was, using Docker, build those dependencies. So instead of kind of going through that whole initial process of getting your environment set up, instead you're literally just kind of pulling down the Docker file, cloning in Git, your forked Git repository, or we're still kind of working on a few things as to when we're doing that. And to avoid that time-consuming part, so you're mostly focused on the lesson, getting everything out of it. We'll show you a little bit of where we got. Our minimum viable product changed a little bit. I think where we got to, and it's a good place, and I think we hit it, is really proof of concept. And what we wanted to show that this is possible, this can be built out for all the lessons. We got to a couple spots, which we'll definitely run through. So as far as this, what you're seeing here is basically the Docker file and your Docker Compose. And this is what is replacing your environment. So as you can see, we used our Mongo 1 as an example. And this is, NVM, the node version manager comes in. This sets up a bash shell. Mongo gets, environment gets downloaded, and you're set across, the same across all computers, which really, again, puts the focus on the lesson. So just to kind of go through, we don't have anything running right now. And let me just make sure I have this correct. And we'll go through what we would put in here. And we can either automate this or write some docs for this. But as you can see, it's going to start pulling libraries. And this is from, you can go through a couple different things. But this is all from hub.docker.com that is pulling a lot of these. And as you can see, it's going to keep going. It's bringing in everything. And what we're going to get to is I want to make sure I'm saying this right, but what we're going to get to is a root file. Basically, our Linux Ubuntu operating system with everything set up. And we'll kind of go through that once it lets us in there. And so as you can see, we're in root. We have something different than you normally see as far as just your bash, your terminal, your command prompt. What you're going to see is you now have this running. Everyone is running the same environment at this point. And where you go from here is, so as you can see, here's everything in our app file ready to go. And similar here. And we can do, at this point, we should be able to do, sorry, just bear with me, make sure I get all the commands correct. And we may have to do a yarn, but let me try here. We can real quick as well go through what is running right now. Let me see. Oh, of course. Docker images and Docker PSA. It's because it's in the root, so I can do it from somewhere else. And as you can see, we now have our image running. We can also check our container. We can get into what image versus container is. Basically, and I got a couple different similes, whatever you want to say. Image is kind of the recipe, everything you have. Container is what you kind of take and read write. Allows read write. You're able to edit it. It's similar to a cake as opposed to a recipe. The one I kind of like the most, image is kind of a class. Container is an instance of the class. So that's what you get up and build here. And we'll do the, not the run Linux, but the, no, sorry. Again, Docker PSA, I think. Here's our containers running. So overall containers running, when we built it, Mongo's running. I believe it's a daemon we have running everything in the background, as well as our Linux with the node version manager. So what this sets up at this point, and I think I actually do this in the root, apologize. No, it goes through here. Maybe off on something I may have to install. PM, but where we got to is this will work. It will run on port 27017. And where we got to and where we're working on now is to have a VS Code editor work as well. Right now we can get Mongo running alone. We need a separate server to run the front end. And we also need to have the VS Code work in there. From there, everything in here, we have all this, we have our Mongo. One thing that we can see, and I'll just kind of show this last. So we have, just like you would, your origin, your upstream as far as the project, but when we go into the actual Mongo file, and again, this is all through the Linux shell and everything. We actually have this set up so we can, edit something, or at this point, set up a file. Untracker would be able to sorry, I'm just going through everything. So we have Git installed as well in here. So that works fine. You're able to bring something down, clone it in here, or have it cloned initially. So as far as a proof of concept, I think we really knocked it out of the park. Some of our biggest victories, I think, just how well everyone worked together, and not just, some people maybe didn't know Docker as well, had to get it set up initially, but everyone contributed. And I think that was a huge win. Everyone has a part of this or got a command that made something happen and worked. So it was just a very positive experience, I think, for everyone. That was the feedback we had in the group. As far as this, we do need a little more time to kind of debug, get some stuff set up, try to figure out if this VS Code actually works. Maybe we try something a little more similar. But as far as just getting this up and running, can it work? Yes. And is this possible, easier than getting a whole bunch of Windows machines or Windows Pro versus Home set up? Very possible. So we look forward to kind of maybe continuing on this, trying to get it right and have a more polished proof of concept. But for 24 hours, I think we were all just really happy as far as how far we got with something that, we didn't totally know as far as Docker. So that's where we'll end. Any questions or anything, but just an awesome experience. Very cool to kind of have something that works, shows where we can take it, and maybe fix some pain points. Good experience, awesome effort from everybody in the group. Just very happy.
Yeah, that's fabulous stuff, especially being that, we don't teach very much about Docker. We don't teach anything about Unity, and some of the other technologies that we've seen and will see today. There are things that you guys have either had learned before or had to learn, just jumping into a group. And that's one thing that we try to emphasize here at Lambda School, is that we're not just teaching you all how to code and just use a bunch of useful tools. We're actually teaching you how to be resourceful and be autonomous and go out and be self-learners and self-teachers. And that's really, really amazing. And this is a really cool app. So those of you who are joining us now on YouTube Live, if you're just jumping in, we just completed a 24-hour hackathon here at Lambda School. Our students across all experience levels, from just having been in the program for 3 weeks and having been in the program for almost 6 months, have gotten together into different groups and built really, really fun apps. So after this video is done going live, it's actually going to be available for everybody on YouTube to rewatch. You can go back and watch some of the projects that have already been presented, and we still got a lot to go. So stick with us. We're excited to have everybody with us. Thanks again, Jason. That was awesome. Up next is Troy Williams with the recipe suggestions group. And then after that, the dice that was rolled, is going to be the old school MUD, where users have access to text slash ASC2 based adventures. So if you are the group czar for that group, go ahead and DM me in Slack, and I'll get you set up on the docket. Troy, the floor is now yours.
Hey everyone. So we made a recipe finding app that you just basically put in any sort of ingredients that you might have in the fridge or cupboard and be able to search with that. So here is the final project that we didn't quite get on Heroku today, which was very annoying, but it's working locally. So in the ingredients box, you can add in basically as many as you want and just like have a comma in between, and then you hit submit and it'll search through. On the initial load, it will load in some recipes. You can search through a few pages. If you want to like star a recipe for later, just hit favorite. It'll pop down here inside the favorite section, and you can have as many as you want. You can search by like a specific dish. So if you want a salad, it'll pull up a whole bunch of salads. And if you want to combine the two, let's just say fish and salad, or salmon and salad might be a little better. And I know it comes up with stuff for beef salad, so that's a thing. And yeah, this is running the front end with React, which got a lot of help from the other guys in your group. Learning more about that because I had some knowledge, but we haven't gotten there yet. But it was a good experience with that. And we have a node backend with an Express server that's actually calling the API, which we're using Recipe Puppy because it's really straightforward and it is actually quite powerful in what it does. All of these view recipes do go off to whatever page they actually live on. We did break this up in the beginning to try to stay somewhat organized, not just trying to get things done as they come up. So we first had a front end and back end where we split that up just in the very beginning, 2 teams working on each so that we could get an initial platform going. And then we came together more towards the end of the night last night to really make sure that the recipes were displaying correctly. The favorites were being added, which we got working this morning. And we were working on a little bit of styling this afternoon, or this morning, I guess. And it was working out pretty well. I'd say the biggest hurdle that we ran into was Heroku this afternoon, and it's really frustrating, and I want to go and figure it out. But that's just going to have to wait until later. Yeah, it was a great experience, and everyone, like we were working until, oh boy, I know Jesh was up until like 1:30 or something last night working on it after we had all gotten to bed, maybe an hour or so before. So it was definitely a late night for him, but we got up a little bit earlier this morning, and Adam was up early this morning trying to figure out some stuff as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's part of the adventure of the hackathon is sometimes you just have to call it quits. I think somebody requoted a popular saying, like, sometimes the best debugger is a good night's sleep earlier today when you guys were all, I got a few hours of sleep. And so when I woke back up and I saw some of the chat come through, it was pretty fun to see, everyone still up and working. I actually dropped out that last piece. I don't know what happened to Zoom, but I'm glad that the meeting continued. Just making sure that you were able to talk about your biggest success and, maybe one of your biggest hiccups. If you covered that already, good. If not, maybe.
Well, sure. Biggest success would probably, at least in my experiences, I'm in CS6. I have made a couple things, like a couple apps, and haven't really focused on React, more Angular, because I just think I just got into it on like the first tutorial that I followed and just went down that path. So really getting help with the other guys and figuring out how React works differently than Angular. And quite honestly, once you get just get those small changes down, it's really similar and you can run with it. Again, the challenge was Heroku, but I guess the first part was interacting with the Recipe Puppy API. Because as simple as it is, once you figure it out, it might be a little confusing just right out the gate.
Sure. Cool. Yeah. As is always working with third-party APIs, every once in a while, you'll be wrapping your head against why something doesn't work. And it may just be that you have, forgotten or that you've regenerated a new API key or something as simple as that. But it's always a fun treat to have to sift through people's documentation and examples. And sometimes that's not easy.
Yeah.
So write good documentation. That's a lesson learned there. So everyone who knows me, who's been, through the program with me, during that week, we talk about server testing. I go in, as a fanatic on good documentation. If there's two things that I love, it's good documentation and good error handling, right? I always say that. So
Ryan, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we probably spent an hour and a half to 2 hours this morning after trying to figure out the favorite button. And it was just something really simple about the state that we were passing down. But that was probably another big hurdle that we took in, because we could get it to create a component, but it wouldn't actually pass in the data in here so that it would display anything.
Yep. That's one of the big gotchas of React is understanding the state flow and, how a parent component can pass, data down to a child and things like that. So it's just something you have to get used to. And, the whole topic of state in a front-end client-side application is a huge discussion that we could have for days and days. Just your other instructor, Ivan, and I, for the last 2 days have been discussing Redux. And so something that we are passionate about. And there's a discussion to be had about state management. And, a lot of people don't love the idea of the React state management system. So anyway, that's awesome. Anything else?
Nope.
Great. Thank you so much, Troy. Okay, the next group worked on an old school MUD, and they're going to be presenting. And then the group after them is the group who worked on the Lambda School social network. So if you are the czar of that group, go ahead and DM me in Slack, and we'll get you set up. For now, the floor is of Jeffrey Schock and Thomas Dillard. So take it away, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us. So we ended up triaging the networking, just to be clear on the whole MUD definition, and narrowed it down to a proof of concept that we could handle the lexing. And we came out with a little story about a guy named Bob who works for a pharmaceutical company, and he is hell-bent to sell the Tree of Life. So just as something to set the stage for a scene, and Potato Salad, Alex championed that, and Thomas, can you point out anything that they should really see?
Yeah, just simply based, this is a generic input. The way that we actually did this, if I can bring it up here quickly, is this is literally just an input field. This is the wrong one. This is literally just an input field in a form. And we take the input based off of that, and depending on what it is, we handle it properly.
So he really championed this. I was having a hard time following along with the whole React state. So he is definitely the king of this project. And we actually ended up losing a couple people to computer problems. got to know these guys really well. Would love to work with them again, and actually hope to finish up this. So what we've got is the fridge is an item that can actually, well, as a basic game object, it has an inventory of its own. So we're having a hard time pulling the state from the item within the scene, which is just a layer down in scope. And I'm not quite sure how he did it, because he pushed that through like an hour before deadline and saved us all. So that was definitely the biggest one that we overcame, and it came at the last minute. I don't know. There's some really, really clever stuff in there. With the lexing, that was a benchmark because we couldn't go anywhere without it. How did you implement each of the actions, the preposition to so we've got the go north, go east, go south.
So directionals, well, I'll start just with the basic actions. Any action that the public is going to end up interacting with is added via this on the initial game object. In the actions folder, or rather the actions object. And then when the input comes in, we parse it based off of what is it doing. So this is a really naive way to do it, but it looks at the first item, it looks at the first entry put, like examine, for example, and then what are you examining? Well, you're examining the Snapple. So it takes that, it realizes that would end up being a function name or an object key in the actions object. And then it looks at the object, which is the second entry, and sees what to do with it. Handling state in this was really hard. Until this morning, everything but updating the room was just done in a console log. And then I wanted to do it more elegantly than this, but it just ends up parsing all of the stuff as a string and appends it to the state of the application way up here. And once that updates, it just gets printed. It just gets printed in the render method. This is a fairly simple application. It's just using React. We installed Redux, but didn't have any reason to keep a state in anything else besides the application that we could think of. Alex I haven't heard from Alex this morning, but she was awesome just in creating all of these items. Alex did so much work just in all of this. This is all her work, and this is just a basic storyline. Unfortunately, we never got this far.
And I just want to echo chamber that, like, awesome that they both stayed up insanely late, and I know that she's, I think, working right now. So
you can't say anything, Jeff. You were there too. We have Jeff to thank for these like awesome descriptions. If I can get back to the actual game. And like just a lot of basic stuff. He built the generic item. So all of the objects in this are just continual children of one another. So every item extends the game object, which we saw briefly earlier. And then items have a pickup property, a drop property, and a toggle property. Just in case we can't pick them up or if it has inventory or whatnot. We did have a couple of people towards the end that had computer issues, but I know Singh and Jessica, who were with us, did an awesome job in pioneering the person object. Unfortunately, we didn't get to use them as much as we wanted to. We ran out of time before we could really either A, implement it in PC, but the whole idea of combat was going to be changed to just suing people because obviously Bob's a lawyer. I don't really know what else to say about this.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I think that's awesome. I think we're all super impressed. That's such a fun callback to, for those of us who were around during the time of these types of games. Yeah, this is super cool. So well done, guys. Yeah, if there's anything else you want to add, feel free. Otherwise, we'll move forward. Cool.
I believe that's all. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone, yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys. Everyone be sure to be taking notes. Remember, students, you're all going to be voting on your favorite app, and then you're going to be voting across some other categories as well. We'll let you know about that directly after this demo. I'll be able to release a Google form that'll allow you to go and vote for all the projects. So. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to have Ellen present, and then I'm going to roll the dice once again. And then we got group number 1, which is the Machi Koro game. So we're going to have them present after Ellen's group. And then I'm going to try and hold these just due to interest of time. I know we all burn the midnight oil. We're all tired. We want to move into the fun part of the hackathon and deliver prizes and things like that. So I want to make sure that you all get a chance to present. So let's keep presentations to about 5 minutes at the most. If we go, if you get close to 5 minutes, I'll keep track and I'll flag you down and I'll stop you from there. So, or I'll give you like a good 60-second heads up. So, all right, without further ado, Ellen, you are on.
Okay. Can everyone hear me okay? See my screen?
Yep. Looks good. Excellent. Sounds great.
Excellent. So we built we have started on building a Lambda social network. I was sort of inspired by the idea of having something that was sort of a Facebook clone, but that would be internal to just the Lambda community so that we could, get to know one another in a way that isn't necessarily real time in a chat the way Slack is, but would give us sort of that personal touch and allow us to do some kind of networking, both professional and just personal. Success-wise, we got so much more done than I expected we would. Honestly, after hearing that it was just going to be 24 hours and not 2 full days of work, I was really concerned about the scope, but it came together really nicely. Our team was pretty evenly divided between CS4 and CS5, and so it just sort of fell into this neat divide between front end and back end because we had people who'd just been working with React Redux, and then also a couple of us who've had the database experience. We had a lot of fun, like a lot of other groups did, mentoring the students who had not a lot less experience, but a little bit less. Just talking to them about the back end stuff really helped those of us in CS4 to get more comfortable with it. And I think all of us came out of this experience feeling a lot more solid about our skills, a lot with a better understanding of the material that we worked on and the other parts of the project that we touched. We stuck to the pretty standard Lambda stack, React Redux. They used React Strap on the front end, and we used MongoDB, Mongoose, bcrypt, and then ngrok for hosting and mlab for data hosting on the back end. We had a lot of challenges connecting all the puzzle pieces. There were some sort of like unnoticed gaps that we caught sort of at the last minute. We all had a lot of trouble with GitHub merge conflicts. So that was a lot of our struggle, was getting all of that on the same page. And a few things slipped through the cracks. Some of the advanced stuff is not is not implemented yet, but it's something that we're planning to keep working on. So I bet you're all wondering what this looks like. You can register as a student, instructor, TA, or graduate. You can enter your cohort and all this other information about yourself. I'm going to leave these last few fields blank because I'm just feeling a little bit lazy right now. One of the front end parts that didn't quite get built out is some of the reactions to some of the buttons. We definitely burnt some of the midnight oil, but some of those pieces just did not fall into place. We do have this nifty list of members. So you can view, the different people who've signed up. We're hoping in the future to implement some like slicing and dicing, or you can view by role or by cohort, or whatever else you want to search on. You can post, content, pictures, little, text posts. Right now they're in just chronological instead of reverse chronological. But yeah, it's the beginnings of a functioning social network. Some of us have definitely been talking about, implementing this in the future, getting this up and running. If any of you are interested in contributing to a project like this, helping us to build out some of the things, we're definitely interested in taking this out in the real world, getting it up for all of you Lambda students. So definitely, get in touch with us if there's anything that you want to contribute, or if you have any feedback or have any questions. Oh, you're on mute, Ryan.
Shoot, sorry about that. Yeah, you beat the clock by like 1 second. So well done.
Oh, geez.
I figured you were already wrapping it up a minute ago, and I didn't need to even to stop you. Okay. Thank you so much. Awesome. What a fun idea. Lambda School social network. Hopefully it's something we can all jump in and, play around with and, stay closely connected. So I didn't hear from the czar for, oh, here it is. I had a feeling it was Donnie. Okay. So Donnie, you are coming right up. Let me make yourself a panelist. Thanks again, Ellen. That was awesome. I'm going to now roll the dice real quick and get our next at bat. Okay, group 18 already went. Running out of numbers here. 9 already went. All right, there we go. It'll be locations of students' previous cohorts mapped will be the next group after our Machi Koro group presenter. So Donnie, without further ado, take it away.
Part of that, it's a tabletop game like Monopoly, but you don't hate everyone after you play it. It came from Japan, I believe, and it's been a pretty popular game. It's pretty simple, and I thought it'd be fun to clone it. And so how hard could it be to clone a popular game? We started by sitting down and laying out some different guidelines, and we mapped out some of the different properties that we were going to have for each of the states in React. And so it turned out to be a little more complicated than we expected. I mean, go figure, it's a board game. And it was going to be a local only game where you play on the same keyboard with everyone. You take turns as players and it swaps out. We designed this in React with Redux, and since it was a local only game, there was no backend server, no database to it. It was only a local state. We mapped out the game loop, and we ran into some issues with working out how to do a non-linear game loop. It was a little more complicated than we thought, but we got a basic start up and going. We weren't able to get a fully functional game yet. But you start off as players, and you'll be able to name your player, and you have a minimum of 2 and maximum of 4 players. And then you would submit it, and then it goes into the game board. And it would show the players up here, and the goal is to unlock 4 of the special cards. And different cards give you different abilities. We pare down some of it to make an easier MVP. Instead of having coins, you just have gold. And but the system itself was open for a lot more expansion, which was what we were really proud of. We all sat down and talked about it after we got done, because we were a little disappointed that we didn't get to our MVP, and we all decided that we did still want to work on it. The state really was what killed us. We weren't expecting such a large state. A lot of people really helped out. We went and got all of the different resources we needed. We fleshed it out so that eventually you'll actually be able to add cards, because we added it in so that the card state, rather than just being an image, actually stores all of the different information about the cards, so that you can create custom cards with special abilities, because some cards have effects. Some of the things we learned about this was the different factors of working on a team where we're not all sitting down together at the same time every moment. We learned how to work with each other really well and got along pretty well while we were doing it, and finally got into a flow on our last day. We probably could have spent a whole nother week planning this out more. But yeah, it was a really great experience, and definitely something I want to try again. I've never done a hackathon before, and wasn't really planning on planning this much, but it turned out to be a whole load of fun.
Super cool. And fun that you were able to work on something that you seem passionate about. So fun game. So yeah. Awesome. Well done, guys. Yeah, at least getting things put together. That's the majority of the battle sometimes, is just planning, and it can take a while in order to execute on a problem. And the problem that you've chosen is a large task. So I'm certainly glad to see that you guys got this far and had a fun time playing around with it. And yeah, it looks really cool. So it looks like it's going to be something you could potentially do. And like you said, you're passionate to stay together, and maybe nights and weekends as you continue, you guys can work on this together. So well done. Anything else? Some pitfalls or successes? Like, what was your favorite and worst thing?
Successes, teaching each other things. It became really easy to just spin up and walk each other through a problem, like walking each other through how to do different things in Git, or learning how different people handle different variable cases, like, teaching other, well, I planned this out, let me walk you through this, rather than just, doing this on my own and coming back to it a week later. It was really nice being able to use Git and figuring out how to merge the different branches that we were working on together.
Yeah, that's a huge success. That'll come in handy here in a few weeks when you start on your capstone projects. So you'll be experts after this hackathon, hopefully. So nice work.
Thanks,
okay.
Guys.
Yeah. All right. Our next presenter will be Austin Howes, presenting on the locations of previous cohorts mapped. But before that, I just want to let you guys know that we couldn't have made this happen with the prizes and things that we have without our cool sponsors. Egghead.io is one of them. Shout out to Kent C. Dodds for reaching out to them on our behalf. He's a good friend of the program. And then another good friend of the program, Tyler McGinnis with tylermcginnis.com. They've both helped us out, getting us some really awesome prizes for those of you who, who are able to take home a prize after this. So good stuff. Cool. So Austin, the floor is yours in just 1 second, but the czar for Get to Know Me the MySpace top friends. Go ahead and let yourself be known. DM me, and then Austin, you are now unmuted, and the floor is yours. So have fun.
Great. Is the screen share already going, or do I need to implement it?
Go ahead and click the green screen share button, and then it'll prompt you to.
Okay. Do you see my stuff?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so so our project, our MVP was to just get one map of all the students' locations based on only the city, from CS1 to CS6 and stopping there. We had a pretty simple goal. This is the simple little data Google sheet that we were building it off of. We leveraged this sheet and pumped it into a Google map through its API, which is just super handy. And we only based it on these three categories: which cohort, which city, which state or country. And this is our guy. So we started out, why are you doing that? I'll double click then. So we started out with kind of a loftier goal, and we pared it down really quickly. We started with React Redux, and we had a lot of design ideas about, if I click this, I wanted to isolate and show me only the CS1 and et cetera. Down here, we're gonna leave space for doing some more analytics like, you know, based on time zones, what are your populations? Based on gender, based on date of application or date of like graduation, we could have a lot of fun metrics down here. So this will be a playground for future ideas based on what Lambda staff have any interest in or needs for. But we liked this idea because this is the Google Sheet that Lambda themselves, Lambda staff has direct access to, no students. So as long as they're updating this sheet, if they go to this website, it'll always be constantly pumped in dynamically. So kind of keeping the simplicity as our main goal. Yeah, kind of the overview. I forget what else we're supposed to say.
So you mentioned React and Redux. What was your overall stack? Did you just simply use Google Sheets as your like data store?
Yeah, by the end of it, we actually switched to that. We fussed around with React Redux. We had really brilliant work by basically everybody but me on the team doing some stuff with React Redux and a MongoDB setup for this. And then Susanna in our group kind of just stumbled on, hey, why are we going to all that trouble if we can just pump it through straight from one Google thing to another Google thing? And that got it up and running instantaneously. And so we want to switch this out. What you're looking at is a simple HTML and CSS file, nothing else. It's very bare bones. So what we want to do is re-implement it later with React Redux so that we can get those state changes every time we click, and then also pump a few more visualizations, hopefully through something like Tableau, little embedded Tableau squares or something. But yeah, really? we fussed around for probably 4.5 hours with the React Redux thing. And then I think between Guy and Susanna and Teresa, they knocked the thing out that we're looking at now in maybe an hour, less, probably, a lot less. And then Jackie and myself kind of polished it up and switched it over to the grid style CSS format and just kind of maneuvered that. Simple site.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Well done. This is actually really awesome. I'd love to just have like a monitor on my wall and just keep an eye on all of you guys as you come to the program. It's super cool. All right. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, I mean, that's pretty much the summary.
Okay. Awesome. Well done, Austin. That's fantastic. And everyone at Austin et al. Cool. So next up is Stephen Ocampo. I always say your name wrong, I think. And they worked on a group. They call themselves Top 9. And their little snippet here is, do you remember the MySpace Top 8 Friends? Well, this is My Top 9, a website that lets users select their top 9 in a variety of categories like sports, video, games, makeup. So go ahead, Stevie, the floor is yours. And yeah, take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. It says I can't start video because the host stopped it.
You should have access now. Let's see. Let's see. Can you share your screen?
It says still getting it.
Really? Okay, let me try and share mine. You want to try again? There we go. Oh, cool. Looks good. Oh, wait, right before you go, let me get my number real quick. Roll the dice. It'll be group 12. The outfit suggestion based on local weather. So go ahead and make yourself known if you are that group representation. So, all right, Stevie, the floor is yours.
Cool. Thank you, Ryan. And thank you to our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, Lambda School students. Do you guys remember MySpace? Your favorite part about MySpace was that top 8. Well, we're doing top 9. And everything begins with very humble beginnings, even the most largest of ideas. And do you remember how Facebook started? Or if you don't, it was a super simple idea. It was pictures of Harvard girls, and it let users rank their beauty 1 to 10. Who would have thought that people like that? Top 9 is a collaborative effort. It's created to showcase the skills of our Lambda School students. It's the first acquisition grown out of Lambda Labs, and we're very proud about the fact that we were acquired by Facebook in July 2018 for the sum of $300 million US. So what is top 9? Rank your top 9 in a variety of categories. The idea is super simple. Imagine the hottest celebrities. For the guys, they like to rank the girls. For the girls, they want to rank the guys. Maybe you want to rank the best songs of all time, most influential persons in history, your favorite website, maybe the best sports players. This happens already. We could do it at the high school, the college, the professional level, the funniest person that are alive. Maybe you want to rank the hottest CEO. The rankings are endless. And we're giving the users the ability for them to create different categories. And you'll be able to compare your top 9 in a certain category versus your friends, or maybe you want to compare them versus celebrities. Top 9 will then tally up these each individual's scores into leaderboards, so we can have, say, the top 9 most beautiful people in the world, or for whichever category we wanted to have a leaderboard opportunity. And like I said, it's a pretty simple idea, and this is as far as we got on top 9. So the first thing that you see is these are all the users that exist on top 9. We got some of our friends to log in. So we didn't get so far. We're actually very happy about how far we did get. We got a full authentication system working with the OAuth. So if I do log in right now, I'll use Google to log into the account. And I should be already logged in on one of my accounts. So we got that functionality working. You'll notice now that I'm logged in as this user. And one of the key functionalities that we just ran out of time, it would have been so this list here is the list of all the users. And we would have then created our own list of our own top 9 list, which that's a key functionality that we're missing at the time. And then you can go to your profile. So this would give you the option for you to have your different categories. And in each category, you would be able to create your your top 9 in that category. Right here, what this is displaying is this is just the entire user object for this particular person. And here's your friends list of your top 9. We didn't get to actually complete this functionality. Again, we're super happy for as much as we did get done. One of our hiccups, I would say, before that, this is our original mock-up for something that we had in mind. So say, for example, you want to see Elon Musk, you love the guy, you want to know who his favorite people are, what books he's reading, maybe his favorite websites, things like that. And for me, I like Elon Musk, so I would be really happy to read the books that he reads. And this is what people want. They want to know about celebrities and what they like, their movies, and yeah. So as far as one of the biggest hiccups, in my opinion, was we were like 40% of the way in as far as time, and then we just couldn't get the auth to work. We ended up ripping out the entire React. We started off using Create React App, and something was up. And also some of the people on our team, they weren't so familiar with React. So we thought it might be a good idea to just not do it, so we could have more inclusion in the project. At the end of the day, this is more of an opportunity for learning and growth for all of us. So we try to make it more inclusive. As far as a success, I would say our team's awesome, man. We got the whole Git workflow. Like, I think it took maybe 15 minutes for us to get up and running. Our workflow was awesome. The opportunities for learning, like I'm in CS1 and I learned so much from the guys, from the other guys who were in CS4. And I was just like watching the screen share, and I was amazed at how much we collaboratively, we know a lot. Our tech stack is, so we did Node. We have an Express server. Like I said, we started off with our front end server doing the Create React app. We ended up just using the EJS for Vue. We had a little hiccup with on Heroku, so we ended up just using the ngrok. Christian actually, he spun up a whole Docker image like nothing. It was pretty impressive. And we're using a MongoDB MLab for our database.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's right there at about 5 minutes. Is there anything else? Last words of wisdom, parting advice, anything awesome you want to share with us, Steve?
Man, I'm just so proud of everyone. All these projects that I've seen just keep blowing me away. We got so many skills here. Imagine what we could do if we took any of these ideas and we really put them out to market. I think we have more than enough talent here for us to be competitive in a global marketplace, for sure.
Cool.
And, keep it up, guys.
Yeah, it's super fun. Super fun to see all these projects come out of 24 short hours. All right. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Good stuff. And the idea is super fun, nostalgic in a lot of ways as well. So that's cool. All right. So next up is going to be our outfit suggestions based on local weather. Should display photos of the type of clothing you might want to wear and be comfortable given the weather. Could also make suggestions based on if the person generally runs hot or cold. So Christopher Otaki is going to be our czar for that group. And then the next group up after them will be simple time tracking application with a / command. So once again, DM me to let me know if you are the czar for that group. So without further ado, Chris, take it away.
Okay. And can you hear me and see my screen okay?
Looks good. Sounds good.
Awesome. So our app, we named it Daily Dress Me because it's a great name. So our purpose is, just like Ryan said, always dress in style regardless of the weather. So this was a bit of our objectives right here. Sandro, he was really good with, keeping us in line. He kind of researched the APIs and the tech and all that. I started us with the Git management, but all of us all together, we just learned it. And I think we just going through the Git push and pull and we kind of struggle with it a bit, but we started getting it down, 78 commits. So we all did that good. Deciding to use React and Open Weather API, which is the API which we actually got to get the weather. It was really good, and we all decided on that. Jonathan was also amazing because he's the one who really got us started with, hey guys, this is what should we do here, kind of gave us the initial push to get started. He even got us this nice wireframe which we started off as our design. That was awesome. So the concepts, once again, Sandro, especially getting this how we would present it, he was awesome with that. Dan, awesome in CSS. That's the CSS master or something. I worked with him because he definitely helped me out with that. I kind of handled the Kava, and we kind of handled the API requests with Axios and all that together. And Kava definitely did the great job with the images, getting the different images that I'll show you in a little bit. And React components with Jesse, yeah, he helped us out also. And so we all pretty much played a good part, did our big things, and this is a couple to-dos that we have, so that we want to get done, which is gender-based clothes and multi-day forecasts and just better graphics and styling. So without further ado, so this is the initial screen that you see. You can enter a zip code. One of our to-dos is to get this to work right now, so I'm not going to focus on that, but I just go ahead and save. Right now here, Atlantic City, that's my where I live at, and it's snowing here, a lot of it, and it's 17 degrees. So what we have is we'll give you outfits. This is the first suggestion, and just give you some outfits on what you should wear anyway. We hook these up a little bit, so if you want to click on more and you say you want to buy a $240 coat, you can. So there's that. And the same goes with all of these nice boots. We actually have a second outfit too. So that's more outdoorsy. So this is more on the indoor side. This is more on the outdoor side if you wanted to. And so say we do 90210 because who doesn't love Beverly Hills? It's 70 over there, which is quite the opposite. But we have clear skies, that's the name of it. And again, this needs to be formatted a little bit better, which is what we were going to be working on, just getting this to look a bit nicer. But you have your outdoors wear and then you have your indoors wear. So yeah, with our to-dos is just get gender-based clothing, multi-day forecast, because if I can pull this up, this is what Sandro came in. That's what we wanted to have it to look like, or one of the designs that we had in mind. And these arrows right here would be able to get the previous day and the next day too. So we were going to work up to that. And yeah, just being able to do that so far. So I guess one of the challenges that we had, I guess for both of them, is the way we split up was we had kind of the background with the API calls and all that, and then another one with the images were a different thing. So one of the biggest changes was to try to modify based on if it was a clear sky or anything, we would change the background to it. So going back to where I am, that's all one thing, being able to affect what's going on in each city and changing the background. But the other challenge was just updating the images based on if it was warm or cold. So right now we just have it based on two things. It's really, let me see where I put it up. It's really, if the temperature is above 66 degrees, then we said it's warm. And if the temperature is below 66 degrees, then it was going to be cold. So what we wanted to do was add if it was raining, if it was cold, warm, things like that. That's another to-do we have. And the win that we had was all yesterday. We were just really just hacking through it. And that took quite a long time, just, saying, hey, we want this to do it. Okay, let's do it. And debug it when it didn't work, pretty much. So that was that. So once the biggest win was, it was right before we went to bed last night, and even this morning, seeing it all come together, just putting the background with the clothes and all that, and being able to change different outfits on cold outfit suggestions and warm outfit suggestions, just seeing all that come together was just really exciting. And then also seeing what it can be is we even said that we might work on this a little bit more after, just because we know where we can go with it, and it's just really exciting to see all of it come together.
Awesome, fabulous stuff. Cool. Anything else you want to share with us before we move forward?
I just loved working in a group. You know, this was, I got to say, probably the first proper time that I actually worked with a group, and it was just an amazing experience. And I'm pretty sure all my group would agree too, that it was just nice working with each other, seeing, you know, how to do the pull requests and how to take ideas from other guys and just incorporating it to yours. Everything was awesome.
Fabulous. Yeah, that's a sign of good things to come, for sure. So it's all about being a team and building stuff together. It's pretty cool. Right on. Well done, group. Well done, Chris. Thank you for sharing with us. So next we have the simple time tracker application, and that's going to be presented by Jesse Hood. And then after that, we're going to have the simple game built using React by Jordan Clark. So go ahead, and Jesse, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself and share your screen.
All right, is my volume good?
Good, yep.
Okay. For our project, hold on one second, I have to adjust my volume on my side. Okay, for our project, we built an interface to look at clock ins and clock outs of users, and we put together an API to where you can clock in and clock out from within Slack, and all you have to do is type in /clock in or /clock out to do that. And for our interface, we used React Table, and as you can see, it's very easy to use. We have all of our users here. We've got their latest clock in and clock out. React Table has some nice built-in functions like searching and pagination. And I'll just show the clock ins and clock out tables real quick. They can get pretty big, but I'm amazed that React Table can just handle everything so smoothly. And we use Moment.js to format the dates into a readable format. And I'll show how to clock in and clock out through Slack. I'm going to set this up real quick to where it'll show up in real time. Okay, it's getting hammered right now, so it's actually not going to work because ngrok is limited by like 40 calls a minute. I'm going to remove that. But yeah, when you clock in, it sends your username in. If your username is not already in the database, it'll create a record with your username in the database. And also we use Mongoose and MongoDB. Pretty simple stuff. And we added some actions into the table. So if you were an admin, you could manually clock in or clock out somebody. If they're not clocked in already, it'll tell you that they're successfully clocked in. If they already are clocked in, it'll tell you that as well. And you can see in the Slack chat a few people got the commands running. And this also uses moment.js to format how long ago you clocked in. There's some better examples in here. Like you can see 2 minutes ago, an hour ago, a few seconds ago. And that's about it. I would say the biggest problem was when coding the API, it got messy really fast. Like you can see for the clock out function, there's several callbacks. Like there's one here, and then you go into another callback, and then you go into another callback. I'm sure that's something I could clean up later, but when it's a hackathon, you just try to get everything working as fast as you can. What worked out really well was I was surprised how easy it was to set up React table. Like when we had the API set up, it was so easy to just throw it into the table, and we have this full interface here where we can see everything, and we can filter and paginate it. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Cool. Good stuff. 10 points for moment.js. I would 100%, pitch that library to any of you having to deal with dates in the future in JavaScript. And then, yeah, React table. It's good stuff. I've used it as well. I love that that application. So it's really fun. Okay. Do you have anything else, Jesse?
Nope, that's all for me.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so before Jordan goes, the next presenter will be from the Guitar Tutorial app. So go ahead and make yourself known if you are the czar of that app. And then once again, I've been messaging the presenter when they have 1 minute left in the chat for Zoom. So if you're presenting and you get a weird private chat from me, it's because you have 1 minute left. All right. Thanks again, Jesse. Jordan, the floor is yours. Let me make sure I unmute you and there we go. You're unmuted now. We can hear you.
Hello. So we made a game in React called Snake. You might have heard of it. I got a top score of 137, so you can try and beat me. And so, yeah, it just uses React and Redux, and the snake is a chain, or it's a doubly linked list of React components. And so I'll just get a little tail and then go like that. And I'll drop a link in Slack if you want to play it. You can go there right now and play it if you want. So I'll kind of show some of the code a little bit. So we use a library called Conva, I think is how you say it. I don't know. And it lets you interact with canvas elements like they were React components, which is pretty cool. And all that the snake is yeah. So the snake starts off by rendering a node, and then a node, if we scroll way down, it creates a rectangle, and then if this node has eaten food, it renders a child. So that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple project. The hard part about this was assigning tasks to everyone and then sort of tying them all together, because before we could actually tie everything together, we had like 700 lines of code that hadn't run at all. And so when we finally got all that together, put it all in one spot and ran it, it took like an hour to debug all of it. So that probably could have been planned a lot better. But yeah, other than that, I think we all worked well together, and I don't know. I think that we made a lot of progress in a day. It works pretty well. The only other thing I'd like to add is like special items, but you can use it on your phone. All of these buttons, they work. For Redux, we stored pretty much all of the game information. So we have a board, which is just a 2D array. And then the direction they're facing. So when you push one of the buttons or you push a key on a keyboard, it updates the direction in the head of the snake. All it's doing is it's just following that direction. And then every child behind it just goes to the node in front of its previous location. So yeah. And I think that's pretty much it, unless anyone else wants to say something. All right, and you're muted.
Shoot. Sorry about that. I'm blown away. Yeah, my high score so far is 12. I'll beat it, and I'll beat yours too. Are you guys storing that high score just in like a session or inside the local storage or something?
It's in local storage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Fun stuff. Yeah, this is definitely nostalgic. So, yeah, if there's nothing else that you have to share, we can go ahead and move forward. I think the application speaks for itself, and I hope we're all busy, paying attention while we still play our games. Cool. Fun stuff, Jordan.
Thanks.
All right. Tyler Sanford's up next, but after that will be, sorry, I didn't roll the dice yet. I got sidetracked. Okay, the next one will be the new Gemini front end. So if you are the czar for that application, your group is on deck. And without further ado, we have Tyler Sanford with the guitar tutorial app. The floor is yours, Tyler.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so first off, everyone in our group, we all play guitar. So we were able to come together right off the bat. We agreed that this website that we all have used before to get music, to learn how to play new songs, it's full of ads. It's just pretty much unusable. I can give you a quick example. So,
do you want to go ahead and share your screen with us?
Oh, yes. I didn't realize I wasn't doing that. Hold on.
Yeah, just click the green share screen button and then follow the promptings from there.
Actually, it's saying here, please use X11 instead. I'm on Linux.
Ooh, is there somebody from your group who has the ability to share their screen? I'm not sure if, there could be a problem, or if I'm not sure where to go from here. Do you have it hosted on a URL somewhere? Is it on somebody's local host?
We were going to host it locally. We were having issues trying to get it deployed.
Okay, go ahead and maybe get with your group and hopefully find somebody who can put it on their local host if you want to show it off to the world. If there are screen sharing issues with your Linux environment, which is odd and sometimes it just happens. I haven't encountered it yet, so not quite sure what to do at this point. So maybe that's the best course of action. So get with your group. I'll get Abby. Tiffany set up, and she can go ahead and take the floor and present on the project that made the new Gemini front end. So,
okay, hi everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Let me share my screen. All right. Can you see our project?
Yep.
Lovely. Okay, so our group initially came together to design a new front end for the trading platform of Gemini, which is a site where you can trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, for those of you who aren't very familiar with it. we talked for a while and decided that we actually had a little bit different interests. So we wanted to stick with cryptocurrencies, and we ended up building an arbitrage machine. Now, what that means is that we tell you if you can go across the different trading platforms like Gemini or Coinbase or Kraken, and if there's one place where you could buy low while simultaneously going somewhere else to sell high. So if it's possible for you to make a profit instantly just by buying and selling. So we decided to make that. So a lot of different pieces had to come together in order to do that. And our team totally crushed it. We had a lot of challenges and we had a lot of successes. Kairat was amazing at pulling API data from a number of sources, which caused some difficulties because some of them had different regulations as to what states you can live in to pull data. Some of them were deprecated. And of course, there were limitations in how frequently we could be pulling data. So in the end, we ended up pulling data from Gemini, Poloniex, and GDEX, which is the trading platform for Coinbase. And we had the information coming from us from those API requests and then have them stored in a database that Brandon made. So that was pretty impressive to actually be able to save all this data. So let's take a little tour of the project. So we have our main page here, but we wanted to make it very clear what you're here for. So when you actually go to our normal homepage, you actually see the data right away. So this is supposed to be very user-friendly. It instantly tells you visually through a number of cues if you should move. So we have an option. So we see here some data for Bitcoin and some data for Ethereum. Those are the two cryptocurrencies that we elected to work with for our MVP. So we have some, we have some data that we give to our users, letting them know what the highest percentage available across these different platforms is. And then recommending to our users if it's worth their time and effort, if they should go ahead and follow our recommendations to buy and sell. So we have that. We wanted to include historical data, charting out in the past different arbitrage percentages that were available. We didn't get that far, but we have the holding tank for it, and we're actually working on that data. Actually, just this morning, we were able to start getting the API data all connected. It's not quite showing here on the page yet. The indicators are ready to take the data. We just didn't get that last piece connected. So that should be a pretty quick feature once we get that going. Have the whole team here so you can look at our beautiful faces. But yeah, this was a really difficult, a really fun project. It took a lot of planning and breaking it up because it was monstrous. I mean, there was so much data to be taking in and sorting through. And the guys we really all came together and crushed it. So the calculations do include the fees. That's why we don't say, obviously if it was greater than like 0.1%, right, you're going to make a profit. But we decided to have a cap. Anything under 5% of a profit, we said, may not be worth your time, especially considering the fact that you're going to have to pay fees. To answer the question, does anyone have an arbitrage trading background? I think everyone who joined this group did so because we are all very interested in cryptocurrencies and the blockchain. So I think that all of us have some sort of stake, but I don't think that most of us are day traders, if that's what you're asking. So this was an amazing project. The team's really great. And we do have additional features that we'd like to include, charting, and of course, having people actually able to sign up so we can monetize the project. Guys, I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted me to share, but I think that's a pretty solid breakdown of what we did.
No, I think that's amazing. Awesome. Cool stuff. Yeah. If you don't have anything else, we can move over. We'll figure out the technical difficulties with the guitar tutorial app, but I've had the clone, the aggregation of Uber Eats, Yelp, Eat24, Google Map, to get you tacos as fast as you possibly can have them near you. So Chris Schroeder will be the czar for that group, with potential Sam Cha sharing his screen with us. Thanks again, Abby. That was awesome.
All right, give me 1 second. Hello, good afternoon, Lambda School. One moment.
Hello.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, is the screen sharing okay?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Linux also, but apparently no technical difficulties, so we'll move right ahead. So what we wanted to do was to pull together a bunch of services that are disparate right now. So if you're looking for food, you've got to kind of go from one to the other. Some are delivery services. They have different functions, but we thought they'd be useful to pull together. So what we attempted to do, and we didn't get all of it done, but we got something that's functional here, is to pull from APIs from these businesses and to gather them into a collection of information. So if I reload my page here, you kind of get an idea of what it looks like. The API that we got up and running is from, there we go, is from Yelp. And essentially the front end that we used was React, and then we used Node to interact with the APIs that we were trying to get to work here. The Yelp ended up integrating pretty well. So as you can see, we have a similar thing that was presented earlier, a table here, which really comes out quite nicely. So you can sort categories by name, by image, review count, ratings. So I'm in Austin, Texas right now. We got some good tacos down here. And Torchy's pops up here as one of the first, and have the most reviews here, as you can see, as you work your way down. If you click on one of these, you can enter further. It will give you a larger photo, and this is pulled directly from Yelp and laid out quite nicely. Mark did a really good job of pulling this together and laying it out. So it gives you information, and then you can link directly to Yelp if you'd like, and go on with further information. So what we were really happy about was the ability to integrate this and kind of have it fit in here nicely. One of the main features that we had wanted to have that we didn't get in here was a speech to text. Now, we ran into a number of technical difficulties, like I guess some of them included personal ones. So computers going down or systems not functioning properly, making it difficult to communicate. Others included, for example, we were trying to use Watson and the API there for speech to text. And apparently the WebSocket that they use is insecure. And so it's actually down right now. So we couldn't use it after trying to debug it for a while. And I don't know, for anyone who doesn't know what a WebSocket is, it's just essentially it streamlines communication. So it allows for two-way communication simultaneously to kind of streamline the feed there, especially if you're using something like audio, you want to make it as streamlined as possible. So that socket wasn't functioning, so we weren't able to integrate that in here. We looked at a couple of workarounds, but we couldn't get it to function, which is unfortunate. However, it does seem like it would be fairly easy to implement. Watson has some pretty cool tools, but that was down. And then several of the other APIs that we wanted to integrate, such as Uber Eats, or Eat24 either didn't exist or well, actually those two didn't exist. And then we didn't get to end up integrating some of the other ones. However, it seems like it would be pretty straightforward to integrate them now that we've built this. It looks like all we'd have to do is set up a couple more nodes and have it feed into the React that's running here. And we could add in Google Places or other services pretty easily and have them sorted through here and integrated into it. Other things that we added in are, it's an immediate location services. So built into the JavaScript is an ability to locate the user based upon their location, which we have. But you can also change your radius here if you'd like. And then you can type in multiple things into this field here, and the results will change. It's a bit of a black box, honestly, about how these functions come out. It's not sorted super well, but you can do your own sorting afterwards. Some of the challenges we came up against were the technical difficulties, which were definitely frustrating. But the successes that we had was that we came out with a pretty clean product, and a couple of us didn't have so much experience really with any of this. So we dug into the APIs trying to find documentation for that, because no one in our group, I think, had great experience with APIs. So we dug into the documentation there and fed that information to people who had more work, more experience under their belt. Sorry, that's my timer, 5 minutes.
Nice.
We gave it to people with more experience with React on the front end. So that's what we got.
Ooh. I love this. Yeah, this is super awesome. And I'm really jealous that you live within 5 miles of a Taco Deli and a Torchy's. That's dangerous. I would have to like ride my bike there to justify eating there 4 times a week at both of those locations. So awesome. Well done, guys. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add at in the last, your last little statement? I don't know.
I will second that. The group work was pretty great. So there was nice to fuse different skill levels, but workflow from a distance can be tough. So trying to make sure you get that down, it would be cool to have. Now it gave me another idea for trying to figure out that stuff. I mean, you have some stuff, but trying to figure out like a common workspace where people can, we have some tools like that. Yeah, it was great. Really enjoyable.
Right on. Yeah, and hopefully next time you work in a group, it'll be much smoother.
Yeah.
So, there we go. Okay, up next, it looks like Tyler Long is going to be presenting for the guitar tutorial group. But before that, we're going to have a roll the dice. And there's just really 3 groups after that need to present, unless I'm forgetting somebody else. But we'll go with the daemon to automate uploading locally recorded Zoom to YouTube. So local Zoom to YouTube. Whoever is the group czar for that group, DM me, make yourself known, and we'll get you up on deck. But for now, Tyler, go ahead and take it away.
All right, cool. Can you hear me?
Yep, sounds good.
All right. All right. You can see that?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Cool. All right. So what we wanted to do was build an app where, sorry, let me just move this. Build an app where we'd be able to look up any song or artist and get guitar tablature back. And we also wanted to have functionality for users, and we wanted to be able to upvote, downvote, save your favorite tabs. We didn't quite get to the user part, but I'll just show you the basic functionality of what it does here. And like I think he said before, we all had a mutual dislike of Ultimate Guitar just because of all the ads and the stuff on there that wasn't really helpful for what we needed. And so what we did was use the Ultimate Guitar Scraper, and that basically picked up the Power Tabs website tablature, and it returned it all. And what we did was we separated it out and kind of put each one in its own line, and you can see the ratings, you can see the artist, and for example, when we click on one right here, it's been running slow. Yeah, so as you can see here, it returns the tab. And one of the biggest problems we had returning this correctly was the ASCII characters. They were all returning in one long string, and we had to format it so that it read the new line character correctly, because it was just returning this, and then it would return all this right next to it. So that was a bit of a problem. But another thing that we kind of ran into that we had to figure out was we were only able to search a new song if we went home first. Whereas now, yeah, so now we can search from any page. And what was happening was we had to do this.props.history.push and return it back to the home page, and then return it back to the search page so that we were able to do that. And let's see. Let me see what else I want to say. Oh yeah, and when it returns the data from the scraper, you're able to actually read whether or not it's chords, and it was returning Ultimate Guitar Plus tabs, which required you to pay for them, so they wouldn't show up. So we had to filter out all of those before they got rendered on the page. And yeah, that's the basic functionality of what we have so far. We really wanted to get the user functionality filled out, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that just yet.
Cool. You got another couple minutes. Is there anything you'd like to talk about in terms of like wins or some, things that tripped you up? Maybe tell us what your stack was for everything. If I'm not sure if you mentioned that all.
Oh no. Yes, we just used React for our front end, and we had the server, I believe, was written in PHP, but it was configured so that npm start also ran the back end, and we had a problem getting it uploaded to Heroku because it wasn't correctly reading the stack. It kind of got confused between the two, so I'm not sure why it wasn't, but it wouldn't let us actually deploy the app, and we had some problems getting it up on GitHub because we were pulling data down, and I guess accidentally some of our files between each of us were undoing what the other people did, and we had to take into account for that. Is there anything else you guys wanted me to add about it?
No, I think that's amazing. I think we can all agree that any of us who've had to go to Ultimate Guitar and suffer those ads just kind of suck sometimes. So this is great. Fun stuff. Thank you so much. All right. That's the Guitar Tabs app. Thank you, Tyler. Okay. So Dylan is up next. And let me see. Dylan is with the Zoom to YouTube group. But before Dylan goes, the next group up after that will be the book vote group. So whoever is the czar for that group, make yourself known, and I'll get you all set up on deck.
Okay, so basically what we're trying to create is a background process that can run all the time. And when you record a video on Zoom and that video gets created, it will automatically start this process, and it'll ask you if you want to upload this video to YouTube. And then from there, it just needs some user input, and it will be uploaded to YouTube, and you will have a link from there. And the way that we decided to really attack this was to basically just attack different parts of this project. I think Emma really focused on the daemon side of it. Callum was our only Windows user, so he really tried to get these technologies to work in a Windows environment, and Patrick really helped guide us and was doing a little bit of everything. So basically, right now, a lot of our stuff is separated, but we do have some functionality. So run this. And what's happening now, this is the process that is going to be run, and it's checking this Zoom folder to see if there's any new MP4 files being added. And if I were to rename this, it should trigger it. Let's see. Yep, and there we go. That's the Zoom MP4 file, and it gets pushed right up to this main directory. And from there, we want to run this process. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask you if you want to upload it. And if you say yes, it's going to run this shell script. And you just enter all the details. And the listing that you want. And then it will call on Google API, and it says, it should have gave me a link. Not sure what happened there. But anyway, the way that this works is after this test finds that the, oh, there we go. There it is. Just took a second. Yeah, and then we can see, should be up. Yeah, and it just takes a little bit to process, but that's the link. So yeah, basically, so after it finds the file, it sets up the notification, and then it starts this script. And this was actually really fun to write. It's just a shell script to run in the terminal. And I would say that was really fun for me, working on that. And it was really cool to really bounce ideas off of people. There's a lot of different ways that we could go with this project, and a lot of different considerations, because this would run differently on a Windows environment. So that's something that we're still in the process of working out. And I guess, yeah, that was probably our biggest challenge. And for me personally, messing around with the Google API was pretty intense, because it's so enormous, and the documentation there's almost too much. It's overwhelming.
Right on. Anything else? You still have one more minute to let us know anything else that you learned, or you disliked or liked, or whatever.
It was great working in a group, and I really liked the fast-paced environment, just going after it. Yeah, it was overall just a really great experience.
Cool. Right on. Lots of fun project time hours put into these projects. Is good stuff. Okay, so next up will be, thank you, Dylan, once again, that was fabulous. Next up will be Michael Dennis with the book vote group. And then after that, it looks like we just have one group left that hasn't presented, but if I've missed you, let me know. That is the mobile FaceTime app. So whoever the czar is for that group, once again, let yourself be known. And then if I've missed anybody, or I'd missed a submission or something, just please reach out and make sure that we get you in the running before we let you guys go into the voting. So without further ado, Michael Dennis, you have the floor, and 5 minutes is yours.
Hey guys. So I'd like to introduce our team. We had quite a few people working on different aspects. At first, the first couple hours we spent trying to figure out whose skills were in what area. And so we split up into a front end and back end design kind of thing. The majority of the team was on the front end and getting everything set up there. And then me and Neil set up the back end. I did the API in React and Express, or Node and Express, and then the other part of the app was done in React. And Neil put it up on Heroku. So we deployed using Git and MongoDB. So it's pretty sweet. We created what our MVP was, is to have a homepage and a search, and then be able to add and delete books, and then vote on those books. And then secondary, we wanted to have some users and be able to have the user interactions.
So if you're wanting to show us off currently, you need to share your screen for us.
All right, let's see. Let's do this.
It's just the green share screen. Yeah, you got it.
All right, so lovely. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So we have our MVP, and the team was awesome at working together using Git and everything. It was at first we had to figure out what the path of Git was. And so once everybody figured that out and was able to master that, it was pretty easy merging our changes as we worked through the process. Like I said, the backend was done in Express. And so here comes the site. So you can search by a subject, for example, math, and you get different books that you can vote on that are math related, or you can do it by the title. I'm a copy paster, sorry guys. So we can just title, and then boom. And then you can upvote it or downvote it. And you can add a book. I'm not gonna just go and add one. You can sign up and sign in, but we didn't tie the sign in and sign up or the add a book or any of that kind of stuff together. We just kind of wanted to make it, simple and work. That was our MVP idea. So that's what we did.
Cool. You said React, Redux, Node, and Express and Mongo. Is that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it was fun for sure.
Cool. What was the biggest pitfalls? I guess you mentioned like getting down the Git workflow, but after that, was there anything else that you that you guys got in the way of your guys' progress?
I think the biggest problem was getting everybody to communicate. Telling people what's wrong is kind of hard to do, and when you're struggling, you want to figure it out on your own. And so there was a lot of the struggle on your own instead of asking for, and I think we all kind of mustered through at the end. We were just all pretty much on Zoom constantly talking back and forth, so it really got knocked out. It was nice. I think we all shared the feeling that it was nice to work in a team even though we were so far apart. I'm gonna stop sharing. Thanks, guys.
Sorry, you kind of got muted there.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
That's it.
Good stuff. Sweet. All right. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun things. And it looks like from the description of your project, that project idea was inspired by our fearless leader, Austin, who tweeted it out a while ago. So that's pretty fun. Awesome. Okay, next up, and I think last but not least, unless speak now or forever hold your peace, students, if you have something you want to present and I missed you, for any chance or for any reason, please reach out to me. I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to show off their awesome projects. But last but not least will be a mobile FaceTime app, allows users to log in and request a video chat with somebody across the world so they can see what it's like in Belgium or wherever. Just really cool idea there. So awesome. The floor is now yours, Jason. Take it away and have fun. And once again, thank you, Michael. That was good.
Very cool. Thanks, Ryan. Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, I'll go ahead and share my screen here.
All right, looks good. Lots of parrot emojis.
Okay, so our group is consists of 5 folks from across various cohorts. And like you said, we're a mobile FaceTime-like app where we can log in and request a video chat. So we introduced ourselves, had a high-level conversation, decided because of our relative newness to Lambda School, we would stick with full stack JavaScript all the way through with no real frameworks until we had it a little more established. And we pretty quickly landed on WebRTC for our API because it's free, open source. It's actually owned by Google, but it had the ability to do everything we wanted to do for free. So we set up our GitHub organization, got our repository, and you can find the link there. Then this is our workflow sheet here that we all created together in terms of what we wanted to do and how we were going to divide the work. So basically, these are all features that the app will have eventually. The bad news for this project is that the app itself is lying in several beautiful pieces as the deadline came. But it's got some minimum functionality, and it was really fun, and everyone in the group played a significant role. So but we still have a lot of work to do, but we're pretty proud of how it's gone so far. The organization, the folks from CS6, Camilla and Haywood D. Johnson, they did the front-end design implementation. I did the API implementation functionality. Travis and Joseph, being in the more experienced cohorts, they did the back-end stuff. They built the authorization and provided really a lot of support. Like I said, it's still the project. A lot of the pieces are built, but a lot of it has yet to be assembled. The front-end examples, and these are sort of an insult to Camilla because they're screen grabs, but the templates are really beautiful. Here are some examples, and I'll go to the better looking versions. Got our mid-call screens, our landing page. So all the color picks, designs, the video container. So those are all very cool and represent a great deal of work. At least I think so. And then to the actual functionality, in case I'm going to try to host this locally, in case it doesn't work, that's a picture of my big ugly face in the functioning portion of the demo. So take that, and basically there's an init URL. It'll ask to use my camera. That creates the user code. And boom, still not getting any better looking, but as you can see, you got the basic functionality of the API. You can enter in messages. Here it is existing down here. So you can see we've got the templates, we've got the functionality, and the back end and the authorization is built but not yet implemented. So everybody, the group participated admirably. They all did their part. They all pitched in, and the biggest challenges, I couldn't believe the number of challenges that we faced. We faced technological challenges, like a lot of people ran into problems with Heroku, but you know, that just gave me an opportunity to learn more about ngrok. We ran into environmental issues. We had, you know, our most experienced cohort member had a frozen water main and had to cut a hole in his floor in the middle of this project. You know, we all had issues with our full-time job. We all had issues with family. And the thing that I loved most about the project was with each punch in the face, we just sort of kept going. And you know, it really helped us. It felt good to just keep soldiering through no matter what happened. It felt good that, you know, after the next day, everyone on the project is committed to seeing it through and having the project be a part of our portfolio. So, you know, that's really the overview of what we did. I think it's got a ton of potential and a lot of work, but the scope for a mobile FaceTime app worldwide just proved to be a giant challenge for a hackathon.
How awesome. Super fun. It's very impressive. WebRTC is big. It's not trivial. There's some fun stuff behind it, and it can be a challenge. So fun stuff. Cool, Jason. Thank you so much. We had a last minute group that wanted to go. Randy Wilson's going to go ahead and present on a group that did another game in Unity. And so, yeah, without further ado, well, I guess we'll consider this one last but not least, unless somebody wants to come forward and share their group project that maybe didn't get submitted or I may have accidentally glossed over. So without further ado, Randy, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, I guess neither of us had like any experience in dealing with Unity or C#, because I mean we're learning JavaScript, so it was kind of hard to get all this going. But we finally came up with something. Let me share my screen. Okay, so pretty much like all day yesterday, we were all just pretty much watching videos and learning how to program a video game in Unity, and it was just like a lot of back and forth because we just couldn't really figure out where we're going. We wanted to make a Star Wars game, and we ended up we worked kind of separately on a lot of stuff, but I found like a tutorial that I kind of went through, and it seemed to, it was great, except for like, I got to, like halfway through it and I'm like, I mean, I got the game working fine, but just one problem, I couldn't get my guy to shoot. So, I mean, it's not finished, but this is all we have, you know, after 24 hours. So let me just figure out how to get in there. Okay, so I think the hardest part was just learning a different language, like in one day. But like with this package that I found, it had a lot of the scenes already built. I actually had this scene already built, so I basically had to build the game scene and what it does. And so here we go. So when you start the game, basically. Get out of here. Let me get this out of here. All right, so you start it, and so it has some music in the background. This was already like pretty much already done, but I had to connect the game to the actual start screen, so that when you start it, pretty much here's your Star Wars ship that I kind of got connected to the computer, to the keyboard, so you could kind of control them. And I'm not really finished with it. These guys are supposed to do cooler things, but right now I only got them going side to side. And you could shoot, but the thing is, one of my problems, I couldn't get my bullets to fly, so they're just stuck down here. But it was just like a learning process, just learning the difference between JavaScript and C#. And yeah, but other than that, like, I mean, it was fun, just going in and trying to study all these different things all at the same time. And like, let me show you some of the scripts that I had okay, so these are some of the scripts that I made. Well, actually, these images came with the package, but like what I did, I found a picture on, which is awesome about this is what's really awesome about Unity. You can get like any 2D picture online and you could just make it into a character. So I found this online. It looked kind of Star Wars looking. So then I just, added it to the script and made its own. This basically controls the ship, tells you what it does. And here's all the script that controls the, this is what controls the spaceship right here. So on the player, I had to build that from scratch basically, but by like referencing different tutorials and stuff. But yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot for sure.
Yeah, especially tackling something that you didn't know before. That's incredible. Well done. I mean, for 24 hours, this is still fantastic. So awesome. I'm glad we caught up and we're able to get you to present.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? No? Okay. If anyone else has anything they would like to share, please DM me. We'll give you a couple minutes to come forward if there's anything else. What we're going to do next is we're going to take a good break, and in about a half an hour, so go rest and hang out. You guys, we're reaching near to the end. In a half an hour, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link to a form in Slack and in the Hackathon channel, and then we'll give you guys 15 minutes, only 15 minutes to vote. It's just a multiple choice question. You can only submit one vote, right? So one form could be submitted per user. And so you're going to submit that, and then we'll tally up the votes, and then we'll get together at about, I want to say maybe, let's see, we're coming up on 3 p.m. Pacific. So we'll get back together at about 4 p.m. Pacific to announce the winners and to deliver prizes. And then you guys can have a wonderful, fabulous weekend where you get caught up on your sleep, and you get, give each other high fives, proverbially, some virtual high fives, and then we'll meet back again bright and early at 8 a.m. Pacific on Monday for you to continue your project. So you only get to choose one favor, so you can only vote one question for each thing. So let's see. The idea here is I wanted you guys to all be voting for one another and not vote for your own project because of the biasy. So let's just keep the biases that way. So I can't enforce you, right? I don't have a way to create a Google form that's going to allow me to enforce you to vote. So you're on the honor system to vote for someone else. Okay, so vote for another group as far as the categories. So the categories that we have are going to be the following 4 categories, okay? The best overall project, what your favorite project was, okay? And then the most likely to become a startup, okay? Your favorite front end, so your favorite style, the most beautiful looking app, and then your favorite back end, okay? So a front end, a back end, we've got a most likely to become a startup, and then the best overall, in your opinion, app. So the first place prize winners, and then we're also going to do a staff vote. So there's going to be potentially 5 teams that win, a staff vote for just our staff pick. And so first and second prize picks will be a student vote and then staff vote. And then after that, we have runner-ups that the teams will be given prizes for. And we'll announce what the prizes are exactly at the time we get back together. So once again, we're in about a half an hour. We're going to drop that form. We'll give you about 15, 20 minutes to vote on everything. We'll close the voting, and then we'll meet back up shortly after that. So yeah, take a good long break. Maybe go get a half an hour of shut-eye and set your alarms to be back at your computer in Slack for voting. And once again, guys, thank you so much for participating in this hackathon. I think it was a large success. It's something that that I would love to continue to do as a school, and you as students have proved us that we should continue to do this as much as we can, as much as we can afford as far as class time, because this really gave us a sense into our program and what we're able to accomplish between program and students, and it goes to show that you guys are putting in the effort and the hard work. We're providing the platform and the material, and hopefully the excitement around all this fun learning, and you guys are taking it the extra mile, and you guys are becoming something out of it, and it's easy to see that. And hopefully this continues to be an impactful experience for you as you continue your growth and development through your careers. And fantastic work here has been done, and it's really, really fun to see this come together. So thanks again. We couldn't have done it without you. Obviously, you're the heart and soul of our program. And then once again, a last shout out to Tyler McGinnis with tylermcginnis.com for sponsoring this little hackathon, and then egghead.io and our friends over there. So thank you so much, guys, for sponsoring this event and for helping us come up with some really awesome prizes. So without further ado, we'll let you guys go. And thank you for tuning in if you joined us on this YouTube Live outside of Lambda School. And, if you're considering joining us as our organization, you had a firsthand glimpse into the amazingness that can come out of this program. So check us out at lambdaschool.com. Reach out to us if you have any questions. And we hope to see you guys all soon. So without further ado, have a great afternoon or evening. We'll see you guys soon.